Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like for us all to gather around the woke oak tree. Please take the hand of your brother or sister in woke standing next to you, or grab the handle of the non-binary shovel. We gather around the oak tree this afternoon to offer up prayers for one of our deacons here at Woke United Methodist, our brother, Stephen A. Smith. The pain, the pain! I was informed by our brother yesterday that the Biden economy is taking its toll on his bank account. Our brother is also being taken advantage of by the evil, evil white man. Stephen A. Smith, he needs our prayers. He is vastly underpaid by ESPN. The possibly $12 million per year that he is collecting in woke welfare, that is not keeping up with the rise of inflation. Instead of flying privately, Stephen A., he is being forced to fly first class. Instead of driving a Rolls Royce, our brother is having to drive a Mercedes. But it gets worse. It gets even worse. As you guys know, our brother has taken a fondness to the woke wiener. He has become accustomed to the high-quality wiener that Oscar Mayer provides. But now, this is so sad. This is so sad. Stephen A. can no longer afford top-shelf woke wiener. No. Due to inflation, he is having to downgrade to the Walmart private label wiener. These low-quality wieners, they often break in the middle of bongo pounding. Stephen A. is often angry, very, very bitter at the lack of pleasure he is receiving. My friends, my brothers and sisters, I have two requests for you at this time. Number one, we are going to pass around the WNBA trash can. We ask that you donate anything that you can. Cucumbers, squash, eggplant, pesos, rainbow flags. If you can spare any of your woke welfare, that would also be appreciated. Number two, please join me now in prayer to the oak tree as we ask this evil, evil white man at ESPN to increase our brother's woke welfare. Our tree, which art in the backyard, big stiffy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy acorns fall, on earth as they do in utopia. Give us this day our daily cucumber, as we ask you to watch over our brother in woke. Shower him with acorns, bury him with leaves, washing him in the blessings of your greatness. Please use your majestical powers to grant him an increase in woke welfare. We will now submit this request using the traditional woke hug method. Fingers up, bongos down. I see varying reports about the salary of Stephen A. Smith. Some say $8 million, others say $12 million. Perhaps we can even split the difference, call it $10 million. When talking about this in the past, I have never begrudged Stephen A. Smith for the money that he makes. Hell, I never begrudge anyone for making a living. Stephen A. Smith is worth the money ESPN's paying him. He's the face of the network. He's one of the only personalities they have that has the ability to generate mainstream headlines. Now sure, every once in a while, someone like Elle Duncan will come up with a toxic mouth fart and get people talking. The insufferable Mina Kimes, she will have people perplexed with the fact that ESPN considers her to be an NFL analyst when she's not qualified to size a jockstrap. But for the most part, ESPN has one on-air personality that possesses the ability to attract mainstream attention. Stephen A. Smith. 8 million, 10 million, 12 million, doesn't matter. He's worth the money. One thing I would never say about Stephen A. Smith is that he is underpaid. Underpaid. But that is the narrative that he went with yesterday morning on Woke Take. They were talking about the lack of American-born black players in the World Series. We discussed this blatant stretch of propaganda earlier this week. Next thing you know, they will be complaining about the lack of black players from Compton playing in the Super Bowl. Stephen A. was attempting to explain why black athletes choose football, basketball over baseball. To be honest with you, he actually made a decent point, something that I hadn't thought about before. But before he got to that point, he did what your typical shitfuck does and made the situation all about himself. He started out by saying, "I'm not going to make this about me," then proceeded to make it all about Stephen A. Smith. Roll the film.
Here is what I believe the biggest reason why there's a paucity of African Americans, or slippage in terms of participation by African Americans. We are still black in this country. We don't trust this country in terms of meritocracy always. We know the bottom line is that just like women are underpaid compared to male counterparts, blacks are underpaid compared to white counterparts. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and of course, people look at me, I'm not talking about me, even though I got news for you. I am underpaid compared to some people on television and what they get paid, but that's a subject for another day. I ain't apologizing for that to a damn soul. I am underpaid. Having said all of that, it ain't about me. Let me understand. Let me make sure everybody understands this. You have to go through the minor league system. AA, AAA, all of that stuff, right? Basically, what you're doing is asking black youth that are growing up in the streets of America to trust that the system will reward them for what they rightfully earned.
First of all, he is right. Most black people don't trust the system. Hell, most people don't trust the system. Now, he claims black athletes don't choose baseball because it takes years of hard work to reap the rewards. They don't trust the system to ever see those rewards come to fruition. It's actually a pretty good point. However, when you really think about it, it's the same thing in the NFL, the NBA. Sure, the top 1% in the NBA can go straight out of high school and college and make big money. The other 99%, they're wasting away in the G League or playing overseas, waiting and waiting and waiting for their opportunity. Don't take my word for it. Just go look at the NBA draft. The draft is 2 rounds. Count how many players drafted are actually playing in the NBA right now. Now, the NFL is a bit different. In the NFL, there are 53 roster spots to fill, but a lot of NFL players that get drafted, they're either sitting on the bench, sitting on the practice squad, or sitting on the fucking couch. To his point, though, practice squad players, they're still making around $200,000 a year. Minor leaguers in baseball, they are starving to death. Same with players in the G League and the NBA. They average around $37,000 a year. But I do get what he was trying to say here. But let's go ahead and get back to the narrative that Stephen A. Smith is underpaid. He didn't name names, so we don't know who he was trying to compare himself to. So what I did, I found the salaries of a couple of media figures along with the salaries of other sports broadcasters and compared them to what Stephen A. Smith is making. Now, if I had to guess, he was probably comparing himself to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I would imagine he ain't happy that ESPN broke the bank to steal them away from Fox. Now, I'm not saying he's jealous, but put yourself in his shoes. Stephen A. Smith's been busting his ass for decades at ESPN. Then they go out and give 2 newcomers at the network $15 million a year? Most people would be pissed off about that. But you have to remove the emotion and look at this situation objectively. In typical shitfuck fashion, Stephen A., he wants to make this all about race. See, I told you mythical racism exists! The evil white brotherhood continues keeping the bongo pounding to themselves. The room with the golden wieners has a sign that says whites only. This has absolutely nothing to do with race. Again, it's all about value. The only color business sees is green. Value does not give a shit about black and white. Monday Night Football is the most watched program ESPN has. Last several years, the broadcast crew for Monday Night Football has sucked. It's been atrocious, trash. We're talking Bomani Jones level of embarrassing. As a result, the NFL tends to give ESPN lower profile games on Monday night. How do you change that? You go out and buy the lead broadcast team in the NFL. Now, granted, I think Romo and Nance are the best team in the NFL today, but for the last 20 or so years, it's been Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Trust me when I tell you, Fox misses them. Broadcasters are critical in sports. Growing up, when I heard the voices of Pat Summerall and John Madden, I knew I was watching a big game. Same goes with the other 4 guys we're talking about. So it stands to reason why Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, Tony Romo are making double the money of Stephen A. Smith. But let's go with a fairer comparison. Woke Take. It is a breaking news and opinion show, similar to shows on Fox News and CNN. Tucker Carlson has the #1 show on Fox News. Hell, most nights he has the #1 show on cable. Thursday night, Tucker Carlson drew 3.7 million viewers. Just like Stephen A. Smith, Tucker Carlson makes $8 million a year. Thursday, Woke Take drew 461,000 viewers. I was having trouble with this calculation, so I contacted our resident math expert here on the channel, Mina Kimes. Hey, KC, it's Mina, captain of the math team. I've just returned from the Nerdium where we're uncovering revolutionary stats in the NFL. As you know, the weather's getting cold, causing balls to get real hard. Nothing like a good stiffy. Anyway, we have concluded that Tucker Carlson has an audience 8 times the size of Stephen A. Smith. Huh. Who's underpaid here? Who's underpaid here? Perhaps not a fair enough comparison. Since Stephen A. wants to make this all about race, let's compare him to another brother. For this comparison, I have selected America's favorite fruit, Don Lemon. When he was in prime time, Donnie was drawing similar ratings to Woke Take. The Rotten Lemon, he receives $4 million a year in woke welfare from CNN. Similar ratings to Stephen A. Smith, half the salary. If we go by this comparison, Stephen A. Smith is actually overpaid. If anyone should be complaining about being underpaid, it should be Tucker Carlson. Imagine for a second, Tucker Carlson went on national television and complained about being underpaid. Imagine the reaction in the media. This is white privilege! This male birthing person makes $8 million a year and is complaining about it! You want an example of real white privilege? I don't believe in white privilege, but if I did, Skip Bayless would be the prime example. Fox is paying him $8 million a year and undisputedly woke can't draw 150,000 viewers. Maybe Stephen A. was talking about Skippy Bebe when he was comparing himself. Who knows? But the truth is, everybody thinks they're underpaid. When I was working a real job, I thought I was underpaid. Even when I had a black boss, I never thought race had anything to do with it. Just like race has absolutely nothing to do with Stephen A. Smith being paid what he's actually worth. His salary is directly tied to his value. If you want to make more money, draw a larger audience. It's that simple. In the television business, you are judged by one thing and one thing only: ratings. But let me know what you think. Is Stephen A. Smith underpaid? Does he make less than Joe Buck and Troy Aikman because he's black? Or does he make less because they provide more value? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.